Hello everyone, welcome back. Now, I know that I've created a reputation for myself as being that bubbly, over-the-top, hyper-positive, in-your-face YouTuber. But today, I'm going to change it up a bit and tell you all about songs I hate. Before we get into it though, I'll quickly let you know that this video is brought to you by my Patreon supporters. Making YouTube content in 2020 has had some ups and downs. Patreon has been a source of stability that allows me to continue doing what I'm doing. So to everyone involved over there, a big thank you. Through that program, I offer early access to videos, tabs, that kind of thing. It's like a tip jar for online content creators. If that sounds interesting to you and you want to become involved, swing by patreon.com/samuraiguitarist. I'm going to mention a stipulation here. Before I get to my list of hated songs, I'm only picking songs that I actually encounter and have feelings towards. I suppose by principle, I hate the German national anthem from 1941, but I've never heard it. It has never had an impact on my life, so stuff like that I'm leaving off. But let's get to it. To kick things off, I really can't stand the song Nothing Else Matters by Metallica, an opinion that I'm sure many of you don't share. If I had no baggage whatsoever attached to this song, I probably still wouldn't like it. I do like Metallica leading up to the Black Album, but this song in particular marks a shift towards a polished, mainstream, arena rock type sound that really doesn't do a lot for me. Couple that with the fact that it is always on the radio and I've come to feel fairly negative towards it. However, there's something else that makes me really hate this song. When I was teaching guitar full-time a number of years ago, I had this one student. His name was Jarrett. Jarrett never practiced. He acted like a spoiled brat. His mom was difficult to deal with. I was basically his glorified babysitter every Monday for 30 minutes starting at 7:30. The intro to Nothing Else Matters was the only thing he could play. I guess his old teacher taught it to him and it stuck for whatever reason. But whenever I would try to work on something with him, he would just get distracted and end up playing this. I'd say, "Hey Jarrett, can we run those pentatonic scales?" Only to end up hearing, "Nothing else matters." "Hey Jarrett, can you play those bar chords that I showed you last week?" Nope, nothing else matters. I even once tried to show him the intro to Enter Sandman, but apparently no other piece of music mattered to him. I hate that song now. Moving on, we have Whenever, Wherever by Shakira. So I actually really enjoy a lot of pop music from all eras, including the early 2000s when this song came out. Whenever, Wherever has a strong melody, great hook, great production, but my lord, what is going on with those lyrics? I never realized how insane they were until I heard the song on the radio a couple years ago and paid specific attention to them. Let me read you an excerpt. "Lucky that my lips not only mumble, they spill kisses like a fountain. Lucky that my breasts are small and humble, so you don't confuse them with mountains. Lucky I have strong legs like my mother to run for cover when I need it." My only explanation is that the song was written in Spanish and then the songwriters took the lyrics and ran it through whatever the 2001 version of Google Translate was. A lot was lost, but they slapped the lyrics in front of Shakira and she sang it. In a way, it is kind of charming in its insanity. I would say that I hate like this one. Next up is Wild Honey Pie by the Beatles, who are one of my favorite groups of all time, but this song is absolute garbage. They did a couple weird things on the White Album. I mean, Revolution No. 9 is the most unlistenable thing that they ever recorded, but I don't think you can really consider that a song. Wild Honey Pie is sandwiched between Obla Di Obla Da and Bungalow Bill on that album, neither of which I think are their best pieces of work. However, by comparison, these two songs sound like sheer brilliance. If the idea of Wild Honey Pie was to make some mediocre songs sound incredible by comparison, I suppose that's kind of clever and it worked, but I still never need to hear the song again. Okay, I'm going to change it up for my next one here. Luke Bryan's song Rain is a Good Thing is a song that I actually think is quite good. The lyrics are clever and offer a unique take, the chords are interesting, the melody is strong, and it's got a great little guitar solo. I used to play this one in cover bands, and I would always look forward to it. However, every other song that Luke Bryan has ever recorded, I truly despise. Next is another country song, The Boot Scootin' Boogie. Now, to understand my hatred of this song, you need to understand something that's unique to the place I live, Winnipeg, Manitoba. We have this thing called wedding socials. I hate wedding socials. People decide that they're going to get married only to find out that such an event costs a fair bit of money, even though everyone who's invited is obligated to give them a gift of $200. Apparently, this isn't enough to cover it, so they have a separate fundraiser called a wedding social. This is a trashy party that happens in a smelly community center where you're expected to buy beer for marked up prices and buy tickets for a shitty auction with shitty prizes, like a tree, for example, made out of lottery tickets. I've seen that one a number of times. What's in it for the people attending, you might ask? Well, there's usually a bowl of Cheetos or some sorry excuse for food put out on the tables that they set up. I really deeply hate wedding socials, and the worst part is, whenever anyone has one who's remotely connected to your group of friends, be it your friend's sister, it's considered rude not to go. I think this is all part of that Canadian politeness thing, but it's socially implied that you'll show up, put on a smile, spend a bunch of money, maybe even donate an auction prize. I can tell you that nobody but a handful of morally compromised individuals actually wants to be there, but it's impolite not to. By the way, I now just say no to any of these and just deal with people being passively aggressive to me for a month before they forget, but back in my 20s, I found myself at far too many of these affairs. Anyways, here's why I hate the boot scootin' boogie. At every single wedding social, since the beginning of time, when the clock hits midnight, this song plays, and the 20 or so weirdos who actually want to be there do the boot scootin' boogie dance step for step. Where do they learn it? Why do they do it? I have no idea, and I'm not sure that I want to find out, but it always happens. Then, after this horrific display of human flesh flailing about the dance floor, platters of deli meats come out, and then people try to sneakily place pieces of salami on other people's shoulders. I am dead serious about all of this. It's absolutely insane, and I hate all of it. But we have universal healthcare up here, and we mostly get along, so I deal with it. Next up on my list of songs that I hate is Confirmation by Manhattan Transfer. Manhattan Transfer is everything wrong with 80s music, a period of music that I normally quite enjoy. They performed really awesome jazz songs like Confirmation by Charlie Parker. However, they did vocalese versions, which means that they added lyrics to everything, including the solos, all done with 80s style and production. In your mind's eye, envision whatever it is that you think is cool. Manhattan Transfer is the opposite of that. Deep in my heart, I truly believe this is the worst music ever made. If you want to see this in action, I recommend watching their version of Weather Report's Birdland. Don't even bother listening to Confirmation. It's not worth it. You'll never be the same. I'm going to stick with jazz for my next song, Randy Bachman's Summertime from his album Jazz Thing. Randy Bachman is a guitarist from my hometown, and he did some amazing work with the band The Guess Who. You know the song American Woman? That incredible fuzz guitar part, that's him. He was also in the band Bachman Turner Overdrive, song Taking Care of Business. That's Randy. It's great. It's rock and roll. I love that stuff. There's another guitarist from my hometown of Winnipeg called Lenny Bro, who Randy studied with at one point. Lenny was one of the greatest jazz guitarists ever to exist. He was on a whole other plateau. I would consider him a genius. Anyways, in 2004, 20 years after Lenny died, Randy took one of Lenny's recordings, his version of Summertime, which he plays absolutely brilliantly, and Randy sang over it and released it on his album Jazz Thing. I don't care if they studied together. I don't care if the family okayed it. This is the musical equivalent of somebody taking Van Gogh's Starry Night and coloring all over top of it with crayons. If you repurpose a song through sampling, fine. If the artists were alive and they give permission, fine. If it's simply a cover, also fine. But taking a dead artist's original recording and simply scatting and singing over top of it is as bad as it gets. I might regret putting this on here, as the Canadian music scene is fairly small, but this is as egregious of a musical sin as anyone can commit, and I stand by everything I said. Moving on, I hate coffeehouse covers, especially the ones that get performed on America's Got Talent. For example, imagine some pop song from the 2000s that's slowed down and played acoustically by some couple who has some sickeningly cute backstory that's likely been fabricated for TV. You know what I'm talking about. They're all over Facebook, and if you're a musician, you've likely had someone say to you, "Oh my god, you're a musician? You've got to hear this version of Oops, I Did It Again that Jalen and Sarah covered on America's Got Talent last night. I literally cried." I once jumped into a pool with a wasp in my bathing suit, and I would rather relive that experience again and again than listen to another coffeehouse cover from America's Got Talent. I will also point out that years ago, my buddy and me did an acoustic blues version of the Fresh Prince theme, so there is some hypocrisy here. I acknowledge that. My last song on my list of songs that I hate is You Make My Dreams Come True by Hall & Oates. Now, before I tell you this story, I should warn you in advance that this is actually pretty tragic and not funny at all. One of my dearest friends, his name is Bees Train, who you might know from my Shop Dogs videos. He has a cabin, a place where we've had some amazing times. A very fond memory of something we always used to do was doing the dishes while dancing to a CD called The Hits of the 80s. The first song on this CD was You Make My Dreams Come True. It's a beautiful memory of peaceful, stress-free summer times at the lake. Well, a couple years ago, my most hated hockey team, the Toronto Maple Leafs, made this song their goal song. Whenever they score a goal, this song plays. which has ruined the song forever for me, a loss that I will always mourn. Ladies and gentlemen, there you have it, songs I hate. If you enjoyed this Sammy G rant, let me know in the comments, and also let me know a song that you hate. Videos like this are made possible by the people who support my channel through Patreon. If you're one of those people, the biggest of thank yous to you. And if you're not, and you're interested in that program, you can check it out at patreon.com/samuraiguitarist. Thank you all for watching. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button and stay tuned for a wide range of musical content. If you want to check out another video like this one, you hit that link up there. Until next time, I'm Samurai Guitarist, and I will see you again soon.